Hey guys, it's Kirby Snead. You're listening to the Walk Off Podcast with Scott and Adam.
So pleased to be joined by today's guest, pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays organization and well into his season with the AAA Buffalo Bison, Kirby Snead. Welcome to the Walk Off, my man. Thanks so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, buddy,
Appreciate it.
we're pumped to chat some ball with you here. And Kirby, you're enjoying a heck of a season so far, my man. So job well done. How you feeling on the mound these days? After the minor league shutdown, it must feel pretty nice to kind of just have a little bit of baseball as usual.
Yeah, it's been 2021 has been a good year so far. Um, it's just good to be back with all the guys. Last year seemed like forever, obviously. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Just trying to take it day by day. Try to slow it down as much as I can. It's a new season, obviously, but it seems to go by fast, with all the days running together and all the travel. And obviously you're with all your friends. So, yeah, I think so far it's going pretty well. I'm just trying to keep it up. That's about it.
You're a Florida boy, correct, Kirby?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you spent the shutdown? Did you wind up going home?
Yeah. So I actually was with my folks back in Gainesville. Yeah, I was there for the whole year. Had a pretty good place to work out at. And obviously I used the facilities a little bit at UF. So yeah, I mean, I had everything I needed, obviously. So yeah, it was good.
That's amazing, man. I know that shutdown was for sure difficult. I mean, a lot of emphasis kind of put on you developing yourself sort of things.
Yeah.
What were you working on? Did you wind up adding anything to your repertoire or anything like that?
Nothing too crazy,
No
but
knuckleballs.
nah.
That would have been
Yeah.
me if I was a big leaguer.
Yeah.
All of COVID would have just been knuckleballs every day.
Yeah, I would say the main thing, I'm very fortunate where I can pick up, my throwing program and whatnot. I can pick it up pretty fast. I don't need a long time to get ready for seasons. So I really just focused on just getting my body right and making sure that I was doing everything I can to, have a successful season for this year. Obviously it was far away at the time, but I was just focused on getting back as soon as I could and proving myself as I, always tried to do. But yeah, I mean, I think overall it was a good, just a little setback, obviously, but I think that I really learned a lot about myself through those months. I really broke down what I was trying to work on. I'm starting to use my changeup a lot more, which has really helped me this season, and I focused on that a little bit last year, just in bullpens and whatnot, just trying to get a better feel for it and throw it more. And yeah, just trying to get my body right. And obviously mentally just be prepared for whatever was to come at the time.
Elaborate on what you mean by your body right. Because I know that's I mean, sports talk 101, everyone's trying to get their body right. But when you're actually there working out and your goals are set out, what were those goals?
Just I always tell it during the season, it's so hard with late nights and you're eating whatever you can get pretty much, So I think just being at home and being with my folks and having a scheduled routine of, I knew exactly what I was doing each day. I think really
you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think just, obviously eating right. And then just getting good sleep and just mentally just trying to stay in it. It was hard last year. I didn't go back to the alt site. So I just had to find something within myself pretty much to just push myself. And I think that it really worked out. And, obviously I would have loved to have been up there last year, but I think I really got a lot out of last year at home and just building up obviously some momentum and just some motivation to come into this year and just prove myself.
How did you deal with the uncertainty of the last year? Because it must have been driving you nuts a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't lie to you. It was pretty frustrating. There was a lot of things that I set out to achieve for 2020. And obviously, I can't sit here and say that it was only me that dealt with it. So
No.
everyone dealt with it. So I think my main thing was just making sure that no matter what happened, I was going to be ready. There was a lot of days that obviously with the uncertainty, you don't really know like what's going on. So it's hard to wake up every day and be like, well, should I go do this? I mean, I might not even play this year. So, but I think just me maturing really and just realizing that whenever this comes back, I got to be ready. I think that was what just motivated me.
Yeah, a pandemic can make a bunch of us grow up that didn't necessarily want to quite that quickly, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
I know you touched on your changeup there, but what is your favorite pitch that you're throwing right now?
I would say my changeup, really.
Yeah.
When I got to when I started realizing that I could play at the next level just in college, and that my changeup has always been a good pitch for me. But when I got to college, I was pretty much a lefty specialist, so I didn't use it as much. So then after college, I get drafted with the Jays, and it's a pitch that I have, but I didn't really use it that much. And I didn't really have a good idea of when to use it or how to use it, because I had lost it for 3 years pretty much. And so I think the main focus over the last couple of seasons with just the staff here and myself is I'm trying to throw my changeup more, because it is a really good pitch for me, and it's all the analytics on it are good, and I'm just trying to throw it more. I've been throwing it to lefties too, so that's been a new thing, and it's pretty it's worked out pretty well so far. I think it sounds cliche, but just being able to trust it, just being able to throw it when I want and just trust it. I think that's the main thing. And obviously, to answer your question, it's my favorite pitch right now.
So the change of mindset that kind of got you throwing the changeup more, or even wanted you wanted to develop it more, did it have anything to do with the 3-batter rule? Like, is the idea of the lefty specialist being not really a thing anymore something that kind of motivated you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, just for me, and just aside from that, I always want to compete. I always want to play. I'll pitch whenever, however. I've started a game this year. That's my first year. I've started, first start ever in minor leagues, and I just want to use as many weapons as I have, and obviously the changeup is a good piece for me. And obviously with the 3-batter rule, I think that was their focus, and just reminded me like, hey, this is a good pitch for you. You need to start using it a little more, and it's really helped me.
And you have touched on this a little bit here in the last couple minutes, and you have been dominant this year. Strikeouts in this league just seem to be bigger and bigger commodities every single game, every single year.
Yeah.
And you, my man, are piling them up. I mean, you're averaging over 12 per 9 innings, which is incredibly impressive. What is your mentality when you get on the mound? Like, you're not obviously always trying to strike everyone out, but like, does your approach change when you've got a hitter down by 2 strikes, or are you kind of going guy by guy, scenario by scenario?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into just that. For me, when I come into a game, I'm just trying to get outs. I'm just trying to help the team win. That's an aspect of it. But definitely when you get 0-2, like going back on what I said earlier, I'm just trying to slow the game down as much as I can.
Right.
It's I had an outing a week ago against Lehigh where I had walked 3 batters, but I was getting ahead every batter. I was getting ahead, and then I was just trying to be too fine. So I think that's the focus there for me, is just when I do get ahead, just don't change my mentality. Don't try to do too much. And just throw whatever they put down, really. And I think that's helped me. I don't go out there trying to strike everyone out. I just want to help the team win. So however I can get an out, really, that's how I'm going to do it.
Well, it's been interesting in baseball over the last couple of years to watch strikeouts go up. And I think a big part of it is the high fastball has become
Yeah.
Well, it's become one of the biggest weapons in literally every pitcher's arsenal. It doesn't really matter the velocity a guy throws. A guy's going to throw it up high there. And do you think that this will self-correct? Like, do you think hitters are going to adjust to this? Or do you think the game's kind of become so strikeout and home run prevalent that guys are going to continue to be up there swinging at that high fastball?
You know, I agree
Because it's
with
been
that. And
prevalent, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. You know, and even for me, like I'm a sidearm lefty and I've been throwing fastballs up too and having
right?
success with it, you know? And I just think that there's so much technology and things that we use now to get info on hitters, and, you know, hitters get info on guys, you know, us, obviously pitchers. And um I think the way the game's going now, I mean, it's all about numbers. It's all about, you know, obviously, like you said, strikeouts, home runs, OPS, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy how much it's changed just since first got into minor league ball. But I think where the game is at now, it's awesome. And I mean, obviously, like, you know, with all the new technology and guys hitting and trying to just, you know, score as much runs as they can, and guys trying to get as many strikeouts as they can, I think it makes the game a little bit more competitive. And um, you know, obviously, if guys know how to use their tools, then I'm all for that.
I can imagine even being able to decipher the information that you're being presented is a big deal, eh?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. For
just
me,
you're given every stat out there, and if you don't know what you're
yeah,
looking at, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm kind of mixed on that. I've always come just, you know, whatever the catcher puts down, I'm gonna try to execute. But just, you know, in the last 2 years, I've just learned so much about myself through analytics and through, you know, my numbers from low A till AAA now.
Mhm.
So I think it's definitely a good thing. But, you know, some guys may not use it as much as others, but all in all, it helps everyone.
Just kind of finding what works for you, I guess, eh?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have worked your way up, my man, this Blue Jays system over the last 5 years. You have played at every minor league level for almost every Blue Jays affiliate.
Yeah.
Did you ever at any point, we were just talking about information, did you at any point have a coach or even a teammate or something like that that noticed something and pointed it out to you and it was kind of an aha moment where you're like, oh my goodness, and you changed it and it just worked?
I mean, I could honestly say that for every level.
Okay.
When I was in low A, we had Jeff Ware, who's our pitching coach now. And I was just out of college, and I was just trying to get adjusted to pro ball life. And I had a long season where I'd thrown a lot in college that year. Um, and I was just trying to get adjusted. So he helped me out a little bit. High A, we had Mark Riggins, and he was awesome. He was kind of old school guy, but whenever you struggled, I had a great year that year. So you know, he kind of left me to the side, and just, you know, whenever I needed help, he'd come. But I think he just, you know, taught me just to, hey, you have all these weapons, you know, every pitcher pretty much that we had that year had done well, because he started that where, hey, you have this pitch, you need to use it more. You have this pitch, you need to use it more. And then double A, we had uh, Vince Horseman, who obviously was a great guy too, and everyone loved him. But he just, I think he was more mentally just helped us out. You know, when times are tough, you know, it's you just gotta trust your stuff. And then in 19, I was over on the mound. I was over all the way on the first base side, and my slider wasn't getting to the plate as much as it should have. You know, it was kind of just wasn't. I wasn't throwing it for strikes as much. So our pitching coach there just helped me move over a little bit to the middle of the mound. And since then, I've been doing that, and it's really helped me because fortunately, I have a good amount of movement on all my pitches. So I'm just trying to throw them pretty much right down the middle and see what they do most
So
of the time. So
just an adjustment as to where you were
standing on the
starting.
mound, yeah,
Wow.
it's so many little things that I've learned along the way that seem so, you know, tedious and seem
Yeah.
so small, but they really helped me mentally and
I know
physically.
I know, and you touched on this, that you actually made your first professional start
Yeah,
in baseball here in pro ball. And I mean, kind of a pseudo opener role, I guess, as you just pitched
yeah,
a couple of
yeah.
innings, but you have come into the game in this year in almost every situation. Do you care when you come into the game? Like, do you have a preference? And does your mentality change depending on what situation you're coming into?
I would say yes and no. Obviously, I just want to pitch and help the team, like I said before. But in college, I was a lefty specialist, so there was a lot of times when I would come in with runners on, guy on second or guy on first and second, second and third, and I think that's where I enjoy it most because you don't really have time to sit there and think. You just got to go out
Yeah.
there and get outs. So I think a lot of times when you just go out there and you're just throwing it and not really thinking too much, I think that's when, guys are really good.
It's so
And for
funny
my,
to say that. Like, guys say that
yeah,
all the time, that like I don't want to think too much about it, but it's almost like being in the zone though, right? Where it's just
yeah,
you're just
exactly.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's yeah, I really like that spot coming in, and like let's say, like for example, like seventh inning, there's two guys on, I come in, get two outs and get out of the inning. I think that's what I enjoy most. 2020 was a tough year for him as well,
Mhm.
not playing and not having a season. And I think him and I just really worked our butts off to get where we're at, and to especially for Sauce, man, he's come a long way from when I first met him. He was a starter and in Lansing together when we were there, and he just kind of had some tough times, and he worked through it. And he's done a lot of good things for this organization, and he's really worked for himself, really. Um, and to see him go up there and do as well as he's doing, man, it's just a testament to how he's carried himself, and how he's grown over the years that I've seen. Because I've been with him pretty much every day. Me and him hang
Yeah.
out a lot, and me and him are really good, really close. And
He mentioned that. Like, he was on the
it's just
show
awesome.
about a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned how close you guys were, and he was
Yeah,
incredibly honest about like that he was dealing with depression during the
yeah,
2020
yeah,
season and our non-season, I should say, and that he even had decided he was quitting. Like, that's kind of what he
yeah,
got into. He's like, I
yeah.
was
It's
calling
yeah.
guys
He
being like, yeah.
yeah he had talked to us around Christmas time of last year and just said he doesn't know if he really wanted to do it anymore. And it's tough hearing somebody say that, because everyone here, everyone on the team deals with times where they question, they want to do other
Everything,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think him and all the guys, pretty much everyone in our org who didn't get to play last year, I think they found a new just a motivating tool to come in and just, like, it's almost as if you don't care. I'm just going to come in and pitch as well as I can.
Yeah.
And I think for him, that's what he's done. And obviously, he's hopefully he's going to play for a lot longer. And this last year is really going to be a building tool for him for the future, because
100%.
it's
And
already
he's
shown. It's already
it
shown.
really has. It really
Yeah.
has. And it's interesting because you kind of touched on it there too. It's not necessarily that it created mental toughness, this shutdown, by any means, but it's
Yeah.
almost like everyone kind of had to find themselves a little bit. Like, Adam and I are stand-up comedians and kind of went through a similar scenario, right? Where
Yeah.
like there's nowhere to tell jokes anymore. All the venues
Exactly.
in Canada were closed, and you kind of had to
Yeah.
be like, well, what am I doing here? So yeah, it's been interesting to hear how everyone's kind of mentally dealt with it.
Yeah.
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 So you, my man, so let's get into this, because the Jays bullpen has been riddled with injuries and struggles this year. And we just talked about him, the Sauce, right? Sacedo got his call up in large part because of that. And you're a lefty that could, be one injury away or even a poor performance away from getting a call up yourself. Do you
Yeah.
keep an eye on that sort of thing? Or do you try to bury your head and not worry about it?
I can't sit here and lie and say I don't think about it. It's
Right.
hard. It's hard when you're, you know, it's
Close.
hard when,
yeah,
exactly. You're so close. And you know, that the one thing I'll say is there's a lot of guys down here, especially at AAA, that have had great seasons and their stuff is unreal. You know, I've grown a lot with just over the 2 months that I've been with this group here. And I think that we're all just, you know, if we don't get our chance, we're still going to just keep pushing, you know. And that sounds, you know, very cliche and stuff, but I think everyone here pretty much is, you know, we always pay attention to what's going on up there. And obviously all of us hope to get up there soon, but the only thing we can handle right now is just pitching for the Buffalo Bisons. So.
And that's the mentality you got to have. It was kind of eye-opening. We had James Dykstra of the Fisher Cats on, and I don't know how much you know his story, but he was like out of affiliate baseball altogether in 2019 and kind of got noticed by the Jays scouting staff because of YouTube videos of all things.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how it had really hurt him in 2018, how much mental energy he spent watching how guys got injured and stuff like that. And he was like, it was a big learning experience for him to really understand that he had to take a step back from that and not worry about what's going on with everyone else, you know?
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in all that, you know, and I can't sit here and say I haven't done it before. But I think just from this last year, just not knowing and having so much uncertainty about my future, I think it's really just kept me focused on myself and just making sure that I'm doing whatever I can do to one, help my career, and, you know, on a side note, help the team win. And I think if I can just handle that, I think everything will work out in the end. So.
Yeah, you can only worry about what you can control, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So Adam and I always joke on the podcast here that when the Yankees bring in a prospect, they're told to shave their face and cut their hair. And guys show up at Jay's camp and everyone's told you should probably grow your hair out if you want to fit in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're ready to go here for that.
Oh,
How long have you been sporting the Dwayne Allman look, my man?
Yeah. So before spring training of 2020, I had cut it just below my ear.
Yeah.
And
you better take your hat off and let us have a look at that.
Yeah,
if we're gonna talk about it.
I can put it down too.
There we
for
go.
a sec,
there
if
we
you guys
go.
want to see it.
The hat doesn't do it justice.
Yes.
Hold on.
Amazing.
I just got out of the shower not too long ago, so it's a little wet, but yeah.
There you go.
That's it.
The Snead flow.
Yeah. No, but to answer your question, I think before the 2020 season, I had cut it, and I was just going to let it go throughout the season. And obviously we got sent home. So I just said, you know what, I'm not going to cut it. And then it came to spring training of this year. And, you know, my parents were asking me, and my girlfriend was asking me, hey, do you think you're going to cut your hair a little bit? And I thought about it. And then the day came where I was supposed to leave and I hadn't got it cut. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to rock it. And I've been growing it out since, you know, last February. And I'm gonna get it cut eventually.
Love it, don't they?
Yeah. I'm gonna let it grow for a little bit longer, maybe cut it this fall sometime. But yeah, I mean, I never had long hair growing up. I never had it in college, and I got to the Jays and just said, why not? And I really like it. You know, I really like having long hair. And I think that it just, you know, it's me now. I don't really know what I'll look like with short hair. Great. So yeah.
So you were drafted in 2016, but you have played baseball your whole life. I'm curious, what's the most mischief or like the funniest thing that you've seen a team you've been on do during a rain delay?
Well, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but Sauce is a extremely funny dancer when we have rain delays or just in general after a big win or something. But I actually just thought about it. We had the playoffs in 2018. We were actually in Trenton where we're playing now. we were playing against the Yankees, and we had a rain delay, and they were going to wait to play the game the next day. And our manager, John Schneider, said, "No, we're playing this game tonight. We're going to win, and we're going to go home because these guys need rest." So we started the game, I want to say at like 11:45.
PM.
And yeah. And that rain
So there were no
delay
fans,
there,
obviously.
yeah. And we had
Just getting ready for pandemic baseball before it even
exactly
happened.
yeah. And we had a bunch of good players on that team. We had Bo, Vlad, Cav, and obviously they were having unreal seasons. And it was just it was just an awesome group there. And that rain delay there, like, in a normal season setting, it would be miserable sitting there for 4 hours. But with that team, it just was another day, and we all got along. We were having a great season. Obviously, we won the league that year.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I would say that's the most memorable.
Schneider was like, "No, we're not calling this game."
Yeah, I mean, that AA travel there in the Eastern League is just, man, it's rough. So
yeah,
we were gonna play that game no matter what. So
would you say that is the worst league for travel? Longest bus ride, stuff like that?
100%.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you like to do, Kirby, when you're not playing baseball? Like I said, we're comics. So when I'm not doing comedy, I escape by nerding out on baseball, right? So
yeah.
when you're looking to escape, what are you doing to take your mind off the game?
I've been on a couple hikes here on the off days, just finding little parks and stuff to go to. I really like being outdoors. I grew up on a farm in Florida, just north of Gainesville. So yeah, I just like to be outside. I like fishing. I fish a lot with my brother when I'm home. And just,
are you and your brother tight?
Yeah. We weren't as tight as when we were little, and he was traveling to every baseball tournament, and he was sick of it. But now that he's grown, and he's going to UF too now, so
nice.
Me and him are pretty close, I would say. Yeah.
Is he your younger brother?
Yeah. He just turned 21 a couple months ago. So
yeah, it's funny how sibling rivalry, you become really good buds in your adulthood, but in childhood it can be a little bit dicey at times. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So out of curiosity, my man, and I bring this up because you touched on it a little bit here. How often is everything in your repertoire working when you're on the mound? And I know a big part of being successful as a pitcher is being able to be crafty and kind of creative when things aren't working your way. When you're struggling with control or just can't find a pitch, what does your brain do? What mentality do you take?
Yeah, there's been a couple of times this year where it's usually where my slider is on and my changeup is just okay, or my slider is just okay and my changeup's on. And I think the main thing is just, like I said before, the whatever's working for you that day, or whatever you feel comfortable with and trust. I think that's what I go with. And we have 2 catchers here that are really good. Juan Gratterall,
yeah.
he's been in the game for a long time, so
he's
been a big help to our pitching staff. Just, he knows the game, and he recognizes, obviously now we've thrown enough to him to where he knows our game. And obviously I've thrown to Riley Adams, he's here now, and Kirk. Yeah. I've thrown to all of them. So I think definitely when your stuff is not on, if you have a catcher that understands and can read the game a little bit along with you, I think that really helps. Yeah.
So going back to 2019, you actually played in the AAA All-Star game, my man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That must have been pretty validating for you. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was cool. So we had Justin Schaefer, who had made it, the All-Star team, and he got called up. And then we had Zach Jackson, also was supposed to make it, and unfortunately his grandmother had passed away at the time, so he was going home for the All-Star break. And I got called into we were playing in Syracuse, and I got called into the office literally the day before the All-Star break, so I had no idea. And our manager Bobby Meacham said, "Hey, what are you doing this week?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna hang out in Buffalo and whatever. And he was, "All right, well, you're gonna get on a flight and fly with me to El Paso. You're going to the All-Star game." I just was like, what? And so,
You're like,
I mean, it was,
yeah,
it was a good experience. Yeah, I mean, that was my first All-Star game in the minor leagues, and I played with a couple guys that I had known, and it was a great time. You know, it was just a good experience, obviously, and you know, El Paso was a great venue for that.
That's very cool, my man. So we have played Canadian trivia with about half a dozen of the guys in the system.
Okay.
Brody Rudning and Zach Britton, 1 out of 6 is what they got. They were terrible at it. And Rudning's a Minnesota boy, so there's no excuse for him. James Dykstra and Fitz Stadler, they got 3 out of 6. And the guy who holds the title right now as the champ for Canadian trivia is Zach Logue with 5 out of 6. Ooh. You want to try your hand at it here? Should we give her a go?
Sure, might as well, yeah.
All right. Okay, so your first question here, Kirby. Toronto is in what Canadian province?
Ontario.
Nailed it. All right, good start. I like it.
Yeah.
What city does the NHL team the Flames play in?
Calgary.
Yes. Hey, Kirby. All right.
Yeah.
Both of those stumped Brody.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played with a ton of Canadians like Romano and others. So
yeah,
I've been getting into NHL a little bit more. So
nice.
I think I got it going.
Well, that'll endear you to Canadians' hearts.
Yeah.
The last time the Toronto Blue Jays went to the American League Championship Series was which year?
I'm gonna say 2015.
Your draft year, bud, 2016.
Oh, I was gonna say one of those two.
Yeah, they did it both. They did it both years, but 16 was the last one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Canadian Larry Walker was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2020. What Canadian MLB team did he play for from 1989 to 1994?
Was it the Expos?
It was the Expos.
Well done.
Nailed it, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 5. So far, you're 3 for 4. You're doing good here. What's the Canadian delicacy of fries, cheese curds, and gravy called?
Poutine.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Kirby. All right. Your final question. What is the official national animal for Canada?
I know this one. Dang it.
It swims, if that helps at all. And it's got a big flat tail.
That's an otter?
We're going to have to go with beaver on that one.
Beaver. Okay.
You're going to get it. 4 out of 6, buddy. You're just slightly behind Logue there.
I mean,
so
I've been in the system this is my 6th year, so I should know a little bit of this, I guess.
The funny thing
You're ready for the bigs, buddy.
The funny thing is, I don't even know what the Canadian national animal was. And then when I thought maybe the beaver, maybe the Canada goose, or maybe the moose. And then when Scott gave the hint of it swims, I was like, well, that doesn't narrow it down at all. Beaver, eh?
All right. So now we're going to switch gears here a little bit, Kirby. We're going to throw to Adam here. He's got some questions. We do a segment called Foul Territory. So he's going to get maybe a little bit more away from baseball with some of these questions.
Okay.
First question, right into baseball still. As a prospect, how do jersey numbers work? Do you get to pick anything, or is it just kind of assigned? Here's what you get.
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes, like when I repeated levels, they let you pick, guys that are coming back.
Right.
But new guys usually don't get to pick. This year is a little weird with, obviously we have the Trenton jerseys and the Buffalo jerseys.
Right.
I didn't choose my Trenton one, but the Buffalo jersey I got to choose. So
what is your number and why?
Even I chose 33 for the Bisons, and then I'm 68 for the Thunder. It's it just, a lot of it depends on like what jersey size you wear, because even if you do want a number, it may not be your jersey size.
Okay.
So,
Like minor
you
league
just gotta,
sports
yeah, exactly.
for kids.
So yeah, you have to kind of work through the system on that one, see what you can get.
So do you have a number, I guess, like predetermined for you then if you were to get called up to the Blue Jays at this point? Like, is there already a Kirby Snead number
No,
83 already made?
not. I don't think so. Okay. No, I honestly, I'll wear whatever number up there. So
that's the right answer.
Whatever they give me, I'll put it on. So
that's the right answer. Awesome.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So you grew up in Florida. This is a question I've always wondered about. How big of a deal is Disney World when you live like a few hours away?
It's not.
You just don't care.
Yeah. I went once when I was probably 3 or 4, and that's about it. I'm not big into, amusement parks or obviously Disney World or anything like that. But I have friends that I've played ball with that are from Orlando, and it's almost a hassle.
Yeah.
All the traffic and people that are there that go see
all
Disney.
The Canadian kids that are like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exactly
what I would say for Florida people, it's just another thing.
So when you win a World Series with the Blue Jays and the sideline reporter asks you, where are you going to go to celebrate? You're not saying Disney World.
No.
You're like, I'm going to the West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's good. Okay, so you mentioned having a girlfriend. What does date night look like for you during the season?
Just a good dinner somewhere. She's actually in New York City right now, so she's pretty close nice. To where we're playing. So I get to see her a good bit. But yeah, we usually just get a good dinner, or maybe she'll cook. She's pretty good cook.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's about it. I've been with her for 6 years now, so I think nice. the big crazy dates are out of the way. So.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
We won't tell her that part. Don't look forward to anything fancy, sweetie.
Yeah.
All right. So, growing up in Florida, are you a football fan at all?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, who's your team then?
Well, unfortunately, I'm a big fan of the Jaguars. My dad's from Jacksonville, so I usually go to about two or three games a year.
Well, hey, you got reason to be optimistic now that Trevor Lawrence is going to be a star, right?
Yeah, and then obviously I grew up in Gainesville, so I'm a huge Gator fan. I've been to just about every home game except for about 3 or 4 since I could remember. So my dad's had season tickets for over 30 years now.
Wow. So well, this is going to tie nicely all together then. What are your thoughts in general on Tim Tebow? Obviously played for the Gators, spent some time, I guess, to mixed success in the NFL, and then pursued a career in baseball, and is now actually trying out again with the Jaguars. So
I think the thing about him is he's always stayed true to himself, and he's just done whatever he wanted to do. I've met him a few times just through playing through the minor league system with the Mets, just playing against Binghamton and Port St. Lucie, and even Syracuse.
He was like bigger than life in college football.
Yeah, it was.
And you came through years, after him, right?
Yeah. When he was in college, I was only like 12 or 13, 14. So yeah, he was a humongous deal. And
did the legend live on, like once you got to the Gators?
Yeah. He's best Gator that there ever was, honestly, in Gainesville, and a bunch of people would tell you that. But yeah, just the way he carries himself too, and even meeting him, you can kind of tell that he doesn't want all the spotlight on him, and he's everyone comes up to him and says, "Oh, I'm a big fan," So for me coming up, it was I just wanted to tell him that, obviously I was from Gainesville and grew up a big fan, and I didn't want to fanboy him too much and try to, but yeah, man, I obviously he was a big inspiration growing up. Just the way he carried himself and the way he went about things was always
You kind of nailed
perfect.
it too, that he always just did what he wanted to do, and that is very
Yeah.
admirable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's basically all I got. I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on Tebow. I know some people have strong opinions after he left football that he was kind of a circus trying to have a
Yeah.
baseball career, but
Yeah.
I've always kind of respected it that he believed in himself, if nothing else, right? Like you got to give him credit for that. So
Yeah, and when we first played him, it was evident that he didn't know, like he just hadn't been in the game for a long time,
Yeah.
like a natural athlete, but not a ball player necessarily.
Yeah, you could tell that he was definitely off. But even just the 2 years that he was in it, and we were coming up and playing against him, you could tell how quick he had picked up on things. And I think that's just a testament to how hard he works and how he carries himself, and he wants to be the best at anything he tries.
So
I think that's what I admired about him when I was growing up.
So how do you think he's going to do now with the position change to tight end in the NFL with your Jaguars?
To be honest with you, I think this whole move is for ticket sales. I
Yeah?
don't even think it's.
No, that's fair.
He's gonna play and he may do okay, but I think the main thing, even when he came out of college, was why don't the Jags take him? Because he grew up in Jacksonville. He's obviously a hometown kid. Why not take him and get ticket sales?
Well, I'm sure jerseys would be through the roof too.
Yeah, whoever we drafted that year, I'm sure they're not even playing anymore. So why not draft Tebow and let him be on the team and obviously bring a bunch of buzz to the city. But yeah, I hope he does well. Obviously I'm a Jags fan, so I hope that the team picks it up a little bit. But
well, I'm sure you're in good hands now with Trevor Lawrence. So
yeah.
You got the Trevor Lawrence hair, so
we'll see. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, I think Scott's got some listener questions for you now.
Okay, yeah. Do you have a couple more minutes here, Kirby? We've got.
Yeah, I got all the time in the world.
Okay. So your first question is from Laura in Toronto, and she says, "Hey Kirby, so happy you're on the podcast. Have you been to Toronto or anywhere in Canada yet? And if so, what did you think?"
My first off season, I visited. My girlfriend lived out in Seattle. She was working out there after college, and I'd had a good friend, Tom Robson, who came up through the system, and he lived in Vancouver. So I went there, visited him for a couple of days, and actually hiked in Whistler, which was awesome.
Nice, yeah, Whistler's beautiful.
And then in spring training of 2019, I had gone to Montreal. I went and played there against in the exhibition games.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And I've only been to Toronto once, and it was just a quick fly through. I was in the airport. I didn't go to the city or anything. So I'm hoping I get to see it soon.
Yeah, hopefully you have plenty of time there soon. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so your next question is from Jonathan in St. John, New Brunswick. So that's East Coast Canada here. Mm-hmm. He says, Kirby, who is the most difficult hitter you've faced to get out? Is there anyone in pro ball that just seems to have your number?
I think there's so many guys. So many dudes I've faced, Yeah. I would say maybe there's a couple of dudes from the Yankees that are Mike Ford has done pretty well against me, even though he's a lefty. We kind of have a little battle there. And then let's see. I mean, I could sit here and say that I've faced Bo and Vlad in many spring trainings and many, live VPs, and they've had my number pretty good. But so
that's
I think
a good
everyone
answer.
Can say that. I think everyone can say that. But yeah, I mean, off the top of my head right now, I don't really know anybody that has done extremely well and are bad. So
well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, my man. Your final question is from Miguel in Vancouver. And he says, hey, Kirby, who is your favorite player growing up? And is there a pitcher that you currently model yourself after?
Growing up, I had watched Andrew Miller. He's actually from Gainesville, and he went to a local high school that I didn't go to, but it was a rival high school of mine. And he came up and went to UNC. I watched him there, and obviously in the majors having his success with the Indians and other teams. Yeah, so I always looked up to him and loved watching him pitch, and obviously it motivated me a bunch to try to get where he was at. But I liked watching the Red Sox growing up, so I was a huge fan of John Lester, just the way he
nice,
worked, and obviously being
Another
left-handed.
lefty. Yeah.
And always loved watching his starts. There's not really anybody that I model myself after, but I do pay attention to a lot of the left-handed relievers and you know, just on our team, you know, Meza and Barucki and guys like that, but also, you know, across the league, just seeing what they do and how they use their stuff. And obviously everyone's different, but it's definitely good to just see, you know, what guys are doing and how they throw and how they are approaching hitters.
Awesome. Honestly, Kirby, thank you so much for your time, man. Really
Yeah, I
enjoyed chatting
appreciate it.
ball with you here, brother.
Appreciate
All
it.
the best with the rest of the season, and we're rooting for you, buddy. Hope to see you in Toronto
Thank you.
soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.